Hello everybody, it's Erin LaFaive here from Full Circle Herbals, and I am just coming on to talk a little bit about how to feel confident about the herbs that you want to use or that you are using. I've seen some people talking in this group about how they aren't always sure whether or not they should take an herb, or when should I start using a particular herb, how long after I've learned about it should I use it. And so I would say that the answer would be your confidence level. As soon as your confidence level feels good about using the herbs, then that's when you should use it. So how do you get confident about using herbs? So the way I've done it is to read about the herb, interact with the herbs, and then at some point I will get very confident with that particular herb. And it can take me a year or years before I feel confident enough to use that herb. And so, for instance, things like cinnamon, for example, those ones we've been exposed to certain herbs for a long time in our lives. And cinnamon's an example for me. So it's been used in baking, often in my family and in all sorts of things around me in society. I've come across cinnamon many times. So when I start to learn about cinnamon as a medicinal and some of the medicinal-like qualities that it has, I'm not really afraid to use it because it's been around me for so long. It feels very normal, feels very natural. So so sometimes it's just getting acquainted with that herb for a long time and getting used to how it smells and maybe how it tastes. If you can get around it when it's growing or it's in its natural environment, that's great. But for me, I can't get near cinnamon, so it's not growing in my area. But so getting confident with the herbs that you're using can take a long time. So don't get too upset with yourself if you're not confident with a particular herb. I have made lots of tinctures before that I wasn't really sure how I was going to use, but I kept them for a long time and just kept them around me and smelled them and watched them change color as they steeped and things like that. So, and then I would get to learn about it. And the more I kept it around, the more I would just kind of come across things that would pique, it would pique my interest, and I would get to learn about it more. So here's an example, a real life example for me. I've made an echinacea leaf tincture. So I took some fresh leaves from my echinacea plant that finally, got to a size where I could cut it this year. Beautiful leaves. And so I cut them, I chopped them up in a food processor with some 100 proof alcohol, and it steeped for a long, long time, for 4 weeks or more. And then I strained it, and I thought, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I probably will use it for some sort of antimicrobial thing. And so there it sat for a long time. And then recently I just got some dental work done, and very sensitive after the work was done. Very, very sensitive, very hard for me to drink anything or eat anything. And so then I remembered how echinacea is used for sore throats. You can spray echinacea, a strong echinacea tea infusion onto the back of the throat, or gargle even some of the tincture, and it will numb the back of the throat. So I thought, well, I'll give that a try on my gum right there. So I did. I stuck my finger in it, and then I rubbed it on my gums on both sides of where the tooth was. And it's crazy how it is very, like 80% of that sensitivity is gone. And then throughout the day, when I noticed it starting to come back, I would rub some more on there, and just I noticed a big difference. So, sometimes you think you're going to use it for one thing, and then, a real life situation comes up, and then that's what you use it for. And, it's good to have these things around for when you're ready to use them. I have lots of things around in my apothecary that I don't necessarily use very often, but it's there for me to learn from. So we learn from books, and we learn from teachers, and we learn by growing the plants, but we also learn by having them around. So eventually, if I kept this around long enough, these calendula petals would fade. They would get very translucent looking. They would start to go yellow and even white, and then like a translucent. So calendula does that, and it's a very easy way to determine if calendula is losing its qualities, going bad or expiring. You can just see that in calendula. So keeping things around, even though you don't know what you're going to do with it, or not feeling particularly confident in using it, you will come around and learn eventually and feel confident to do that. So to recap, how to feel confident using herbs: I keep them around me, I learn about them, I interact with them, and I learn enough about them until I feel confident enough using them. So nettles is my most fun example to say, and nettle tea, I'd been reading for a long time that nettles is very good for you. Cook it or dry it and it'd be just fine. No sting from it. And so I would ask around to people, oh yeah, my grandmother used to harvest those, or oh yes, I eat them. So I started seeing that nettles was not going to kill me, as these people are still alive. And then I finally got up the courage to try nettle infusion. And so when I first tried it, I really was scared to do it because I thought it was going to, sting my throat or something like that. So I just took a little sip of it and nothing happened. And the next time I made it, I took a few more sips of it and nothing, I was fine. And so finally I just got really confident with it because nothing bad has happened. And then I started getting good experiences from it because it helps with seasonal allergies. So then I started to feel the benefits of that during high allergy time. So it's very good to be cautious about herbs so that you just don't start taking stuff willy-nilly internally. It's very good to be cautious and to learn and to wait until you feel that you've learned enough that you're ready to use it. So those are my tips on how to get confident about using herbs. So hopefully you'll all be able to join in live for the Learning Herbalism QuickStart. I'll be talking about different strategies that I've used to help me learn herbalism. And I've seen lots of comments here in the group about people not feeling like they have enough time, feeling like they're unsure about how to use certain herbs. And I'm going to be addressing a lot of what the people's concerns are and a lot of the other comments that are happening in the group. So I am taking note of when people say things. I want to make sure that I can help everybody as best I can in the 4 days. So each day I'll do some sort of strategy. I'll give you some sort of action item to do. Nothing too intense, I hope, because I want people to actually be able to feel like they can do them even if they have a busy schedule, not enough energy at the end of the day. And so hopefully those will be really empowering and powerful for you to use and try out, but at the same time, not too time consuming. So, and then each day I also introduce an herb. So the first day is blue vervain, the second day is blackberry root, the third day is cinnamon, I think, and the fourth day is peppermint. And so I'll be just going over some items about those and like how to use them, maybe even some growing tips and drying tips and all the other things that I have experienced with those herbs. So that's what we'll be doing, and I'll be putting any handouts that I have, I'll be putting in this group in the units section. So there's a units section on here, or if you're signed up through my email list, then you'll get them through email. The PDFs and the replays will come through email too if you're on the email list. So if you've signed up for my other email lists in the past, you still need to sign up for the one on the QuickStart webpage, because it's a specific email so that you don't get all sorts of other ones that you're not interested in from me. So you'll still have to sign up for that. So it'll be super fun. We'll be on the first day is 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, then it's 1 o'clock Central Standard Time for the second and third day, and the last day is 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. If people are able to see me live all 4 times, then they'll get their name entered into a special giveaway that I'm going to be doing, and special bonus points for people who can interact with the group or through email with me, so that when I do give these action items, people can share with me how they're going and what they've experienced with them too. So I'll be tracking who's interacting and things like that, and get them into a special drawing, which I will explain soon. I'll announce that probably a day or two before we start. So Monday through Thursday we're starting, and then try to give you as many goodies and tips as possible. So keep commenting in the group about the questions that I'm posing. I've asked about, like, what's one of the barriers to learning herbalism, or how do you organize your materials, your books, your papers, and all that kind of thing. So the more information I get from all of you, the more I can kind of tailor this to meet your needs. I have lots of ideas, but I really want to be able to give you all really usable ideas, contents, lessons, and things like that. So all right, we've had lots and lots of people come in on this group, so I will be introducing myself probably a couple times, so that people get to know who I am and who's running this thing, why they should listen and care. So I'll be doing that definitely on the first day, and maybe even once before we do the live. So anyways, thanks for everybody for watching and joining in. Let me know if you've watched the replay, and feel free to ask me questions, and I'll see what I can do to assist you. So take care.